So I'm going live now. Go ahead and try to watch, and it'll tell me when I have a live viewer. Folks, if you're tuning in, we are trying to get started, but the tech issues, there it goes. Bring Brian on camera now. Okay, so we're hanging up. Okay, Brian, you're here.
All right.
Oh my gosh, folks. So we learned some things tonight. So as you know, Facebook is always changing. You have to be friends, I think, in order to bring someone on to your live
And
show.
why wouldn't
And
someone
granted,
want to be your friend, right?
right? Why wouldn't somebody want to be my friend? Anyways, this is Fain Brandt with a LinkedIn Bakery, bringing you bite-sized tips so you don't get overwhelmed. Now, we're going to take just a minute and reposition because I normally use Ecamm and Skype Recorder to do my Facebook live show. Now, I had read last week there was a problem with a Skype Recorder, and you had to delete it and re-upload it, which I did. I actually rebooted my computer as well, but I still had issues tonight. But you know what? This girl doesn't give up. I always say to my husband, I am smarter than the computer. That's what I say. That's what I believe. So let me just get situated. My husband took my, I have a nice little stand for my phone here, but husband took it and put it somewhere. So let's see. Let me see how I can get this set up without dropping everything. So, because my arm will get really, really tired. Oh, wait a minute. Where is it? No. Tripod stand. How many tripod stands do you have, Brian?
I got one right here. Probably, I don't know. I got quite a few. For iPads, iPhones,
Right.
you name it.
So I think that this is going to work. I literally have so much. Okay. Yes! Because I seriously cannot hold that iPhone the whole time. Okay, guys, let's get started. And look, it's only 7:05?
I think you're doing fine.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm Fain Brandt with a LinkedIn Bakery. I host this Facebook live show the first and third Wednesdays of the month at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on my business page. And it's not just LinkedIn tips. I'm here to serve my community in every aspect. So I like to bring experts on and talk to them about how they got started, and also people that I know you need their services. So Brian is an amazing dude. We met last year at Social Media Marketing World 17. Shout out to that. That conference is coming up again next month.
Yeah.
It's earlier this year. But so the funny thing, the way that Brian and I met, literally there's like this big networking room, and it has these tables for table talks, and he had this gnarly like lunch, what was it like a basket, a lunch
It
box?
was just like a plastic bin that had all my stickers and pins and everything in.
Okay, so it's just this big thing, and it says on the side, "Your writing sucks." And I was like, wow, how does he know my writing
Had a
sucks?
sticker right there, like that. That's what it is.
Yeah. He had this huge sticker, and I was like, whoa, that sticker is talking to this girl right here. So I don't always say this, but I'm dyslexic, so writing is really hard. Like, I like to write, but the words don't come out in the right order, and it looks fine to me because my brain works that way. It works really fast, and it's backwards. And so having dyslexia makes it harder for me to get content out that is written so other people can understand it. Because I might understand the way I write, but not everyone else does. And so when I saw that sticker that says, "Your writing sucks," I was like, yeah, it does. Tell me more. So I walked over and introduced myself, and, you know, we just kind of kept in touch after the conference. And I was like, it's a new year. I want to bring on local companies. I love to support and promote local companies that can actually help my network grow their business. And so Brian is here tonight to share his story and to tell us how his business can help you look more professional and save you time. Okay, Brian, tell us how you got started.
Well, actually, similar to what you said, I too grew up with a learning disability. I don't have dyslexia. I'm more on the ADD spectrum, and always had a hard time talking, communicating with my writing. I could say it in my head, but I could never really get it out when I wanted to on paper, and I felt like that was held me back a lot, especially in school. And when I came up with the idea with my partner, we really just wanted to find a solution for people that were conscious about their writing. He actually doesn't speak English as his primary language. He speaks Russian, and English is his second language. And he spent some time in Singapore, and he dealt with a lot of expats that had the same issue. So we kind of put our heads together, and we wanted to come up with a solution that would help people better express themselves, at least in the written form, and by providing a real-time solution, because a lot of people, are misunderstood, they're misjudged, or maybe even judged actually based on their writing. And
I've had that happen to me on a post on LinkedIn, like because I wasn't grammatically correct, and I got torn apart. Like, and I was like, wow, it was just a comment on something. But writing is so critical in our lives, and especially as a business owner, I think that you really nailed that people judge you.
Yeah, and it's that's the serious part of it. Obviously that you don't want people attacking you and saying mean things. They will judge you whether they do it in public forum or they just may do it behind your back. But yeah, and for me, I felt a little insecure to write a blog post or write anything and to put it out there in the public forum. Especially when this was years ago when blogs weren't that popular, and I had a lot of good ideas and things I wanted to talk about, and I was not confident in my writing, and that's why we came up with this idea. And actually I just wrote a blog post about this. I think I sent it to you about how it could save my marriage as well, because
Yes.
you will send, oftentimes you have something.
I love that blog post. Oh, Samantha joined us and a couple other viewers. You know what? Thanks guys for joining us. Sorry, we got a little late start. So Brian's going to tell about his blog post. And when he sent this blog post to me, I was like, is he living here with me and my husband? Because it spoke to me again. And Samantha, maybe you can relate to this. So Brian, go ahead and tell the viewers about your blog post.
So the one I sent you was about basically how my service can save your marriage, because there's a lot of times you will send have something written, whether it be an email, blog post, anything you want to put out there, social media post, and who's usually the first person you send it to? Your husband, your wife, your spouse, your significant other, whomever. Hey, check this out. And they get a little grumpy sometimes. They don't want to do it, or they if there happens to be a mistake, you blame them, and that you get into a fight, and you don't want to. It can save your marriage basically, and by being able to not have to send it to your spouse at 1 a.m. or what have you. So
right, like, honey, can you proofread? I did this the other day. I'm sending out this like, hey, it was great to meet you at a score event, and I know how I type and everything, and I looked at it, I'm like, okay, can you come look at this really quick? And he'd like literally just walked in the door, right? So, I mean, I really need to go back to using your services again and save my marriage.
Yeah, I mean, it's and my partner who started it with me, he said his wife was getting sick of what he called his ESL request, his English as second language request, because he was more crucial about it than I was, because he wanted to make sure that he spoke well in English, and that's when when he was working in Singapore, he had a lot of expats that came from other countries, and he felt like that they were getting passed over for jobs or promotions because they couldn't speak well. It'd be like you and I going to another country and trying to communicate. We may know what we're talking about, but we'll sound foolish. We've all gotten those emails from someone in broken English, and we discount them immediately because their emails.
Right.
And so he felt on a larger scale that they were getting passed over for jobs and things like that. So we just, the biggest thing we wanted to do is provide a service like that. And what we used tools like, even before Grammarly was around, but just basic spell checker, and that doesn't do enough for us, and
even Grammarly doesn't get it all.
yeah, I mean, it's a great service, and it's a great tool, but having a second set of eyes to look at it and a real person right away, we focus on a few things. We focus on speed, quality, and convenience. We want it done fast. We live in a world that people want it and they want it done right now. And
right, Samantha, don't you want everything spell checked and content like proof right away? I'm going to interject right there. So, Brian and I reconnected last, November, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was around November. And so, it was because I was getting ready to do my newsletter and I knew I needed to have it proofread, right? And so I tried Brian's service out. And I was expecting it to be fast because that's what he said, but I'm not kidding. I mean, my newsletter isn't that big. I don't even remember the word count, but 20 minutes later, this person was messaging me on their platform, here it is, here's the changes I made. And we had a little email communication or messaging communication on the editor platform. And literally 30 minutes later, I was sending out my newsletter that probably wouldn't have gone out till at least the next night if I had sat and I have to let it sit for a day and then I have to go back and read it again in the morning and then again, or my husband, that just wasn't going to happen. So I was really impressed with the speed. It was fast.
Yeah, and that's, we do it 24/7. We have editors throughout the world, and they'll pick it up. If a job doesn't get picked up in 5-10 minutes, my phone starts dinging. My operations manager, Elizabeth's phone starts dinging. We have checks and balances in place for that, but because we want people to be able to get it done and get it done straight away. And one thing that I didn't mention about another reason for that we have the service is there's been many times I've written something and it sounded like Shakespeare, I thought at least. And your mind says something different when you write it down. My biggest problem is you and your. I'll say, I want to say thank you for your time, and I'll just say thank you for you time or something silly like that. But in my head, in my eyes tell me that's what I've typed, and it's not that way. So you could be the best.
It happens to me all the time, and Grammarly can't pick that stuff up.
Yeah, and just being able to have a second set of eyes to look at it, not even to even change the wording unless you need the different word choice or what have you, but just to kind of look it over is a big part of our service, because we have some people that are very, very well written and they still use our service, and we have.
Yeah, I'm just thinking they're pretty much everybody needs your service. Now that I'm sitting here, I'm so I'm doing an online course right now. I probably, after I'm in the beta test and I was oh, I need to go back and edit everything after we go through it once and I know what I'm going to do. That would be great. You're creating an online course, use your service to make sure everything flows and reads right. Or, coaches, bloggers, social media people, your monthly newsletter, professionals, resumes. I'm
keep going.
My head is
keep going.
Right? I'm so anyone with dyslexia, you got to have this service, because why? I'm going to tell you why. Because as someone with dyslexia, it takes twice as long to write something, and then it takes me twice as long to go back and edit it, and then I get frustrated, and so I think if you have dyslexia, if English isn't your second language, or if English isn't your first language, you definitely need this. If you're a blogger, social media manager, if you're an online trainer, I'm just an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, party of one. You need someone, unless you have an executive assistant who is actually a good proofreader, right? You need someone to read your bio. Does it read right before you go and put it on your website? So if you got a website out there, why not send that content over to Brian first to make sure? Because I can't tell you how many websites I go to and there's typos.
And then
And you know what so being on this side, when I see that, I'm like, wow, are they a professional? I judge them, which is so wrong, but I do, right?
yeah, absolutely, yeah,
Hey, Carla, thanks for joining.
um, yeah, I mean, and same with like emails and other type of things. Resumes cover. I bet there's many people that send out a cover letter and there's one typo in it, they don't get a job because of it, you know. And it's very, it makes at least I use my service every day, you know, because you don't want me editing your work. You know, you want the professionals editing it. Um, but you know, I use it pretty much every day, and you know, and I'll just submit something myself, and because it makes me feel better and more confident about my work. You know, a lot of you mentioned solopreneurs or even and entrepreneurs, or the people that I work with are very creative people, and I don't want them to feel limited on their creativity like I felt like I was, like I talked at the beginning, like being able to write a blog post or tell a story in a blog or what have you. And, you know, focus on your creativity and let us help you. You know, you do the meat and potatoes of it. You write it, and we'll just make it sound better for you. And that could be.
I just thought of another reason to use your service. let me be an affiliate here. No, so when you have a contract, right? So when as entrepreneurs, like I know I have a contract that I have clients sign, but I didn't have anyone sit and proofread it except for my husband, right? So like we all have contracts. You know, Carla is an accountant, and I was thinking, oh, she probably has a contract. Has it been proofread? You know, is everything in order? So there's like all kinds of reasons to use your service. Hey, Paula, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm just saying hi to everybody as they come on, and hopefully I don't hit the wrong button here. Um, um, so I'm wondering, like, you know, do you have a client like that's maybe the youngest, that's maybe the oldest, that's maybe the most out there job? Can you give us some examples of some of the clients? You don't have to say their name, but just like the industry or what they're doing. Travel bloggers, they need you.
Well, you know, that was one of the good challenges we had starting this business, and we continue to have as we grow. Is you said it yourself. Pretty much anyone can use it, but as a business person, you can't target everybody, unfortunately. You know, because you just
Right.
you don't, you're not going to have enough money, enough resources to reach everyone. So our main target when we started was English as a second language, someone maybe that was like the expat that we talked about, or someone with a learning disability, a small business owner that maybe doesn't have, like you mentioned, a team of people that can look into it. And as we've grown, we've come to notice that a lot of students, and I remember specifically saying, as a former online educator, I still teach a little bit now. I remember saying when I started this, I'm like, I do not want students, if people submit homework, we're not going to take it. It's now 20% of our business, you know. But so, I mean,
Oh, wow.
because, you know, I understand we're teaching people as well how to write better. And so, and there's obviously a need for it. And you talked about your online class that you're taking. So the students are definitely a part of it. And they're usually students that they kind of fall in both of those categories. They're students that are English isn't their primary language, English is their second language as well. And then a lot of our clients fall into couple buckets like that. But then we'll have people that are bloggers, small business owners that send it with a lot of emails, a lot of reports. And we have people from, you know, that can barely speak English to people that have PhDs and that just want that a little bit of extra confidence in their writing, and they know they can send it to us, and it'll be squared away and it'll be written properly. So yeah, it's really difficult to, you know, obviously, yes, everybody could use it, and it makes me feel, you know, happy when you're sitting there rattling off all these people that can't use it.
I'm like, oh, and this person and that person. Oh, I know this person. So basically the service can be for anyone. You know, I want our viewers to understand what's the process. So if someone were to like, okay, Mary, I'm doing blogs, monthly blogs or monthly newsletters, you know, can you walk them through kind of, you know, what the steps are? How easy is it? Tell us.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we have many different ways to submit a request. We have our online platform. We have an app as well. We have an API for the technical people. You can email in the request. You can actually, once you set up your account, you can just email it to fixiteditor.com, and it gets sent away. But you submit your request, and once you've used the service a couple of times, you can start picking the editors you've used in the past. So if you like them, you can use them again. But so you'll submit your request. You'll pick your topic, your category that you're going to put it in. Give the editor any notes that you have. Once you submit it, it gets dispatched to all our editors, and like I said, it gets picked up in about 5-10 minutes. And then once it's picked up, the editor starts working on it right away. Depending on the length, I think like yours was like 500, 600 words.
Yeah.
It gets done about 10-15 minutes, depending on the length. And I mean, we have requests that are 10 words, and we have requests that are 2,000 words. So it can really vary. So once it's done, before it's done, you could chat with the editor and ask them any questions, or they can ask you any questions.
Right. I did that.
So even before.
And I just want to interject, like, one of the cool things is, like, when you said you can put notes in there. So I put notes that my style, my brand is fun and casual. So I wanted them to know that that's the tone, and I really wanted to keep everything kind of like cool, casual, fun. So I like that you can put the notes in there and communicate directly with the editor.
Yeah, and that was a big feature, and that we wanted to have. So you're able to chat with them in the little chat area while they're working on the job. So if they have a question while they're working on it, they can go ahead and send you a question, and then once it's done, you get it back. It's you'll see the markups, the red lines, the green lines, and they'll give you some feedback on it. And then if you still need help, you can still chat with them again, chat with them in the same chat box, but you can actually resubmit it. Let's see, maybe there's a sentence, like, maybe this last sentence really isn't the way I wanted it. Can you maybe redo this again?
Right.
Or maybe just they need help with another section, so they can resubmit it to you, and then you're done with it. So I mean, the whole process can take, depending on the length, our average job is about 200-300 words, probably takes about 10-15 minutes, and then you get it back. Yeah, and that's being conservative. I told you we focus on quality or speed, but we want to focus on the quality too. I don't want to someone submitting 1,000 words and they get it back in 2 minutes, because that means my editor hasn't done a good enough job. So
I was impressed with, like, this 20-minute turnaround thing. Like, literally, I submitted it. We had a chat, online. She sent it back, and literally I was sitting in here. I was like, honey, I already got the edits back. I was like, whoa. And we had like 1 or 2, messages going back and forth. And like within 30 minutes, I had submitted it, gotten it back, made some changes. And then I actually got my newsletter out. Like, it was a 30-minute process.
Yeah, I remember that, because you had messaged me and said, all right, I'm going to try this out for the first time. And then you did it. And then like 20 or 30 minutes later, I got an email with your newsletter. I'm like, oh, I guess she liked it. So I guess it worked. So.
Yeah, because you're on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was really fun. And I didn't do a newsletter in December. I had that lovely knee surgery. So no newsletter then, but I have one in the pipeline that I need to shoot it out to you guys and get that proofread like tomorrow.
Well, do it right now. There's someone waiting right now for you.
I know. That's what I love. So all my solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, business owners, during the day, we're serving our clients, we're serving our customers, we're networking, right? We're doing all those things. And we all know that nighttime is when we sit down at our laptops and we start plugging away. And then we're like, crap, it's 11 o'clock at night. Or even if it's 10 o'clock, your spouse, your boyfriend, your child does not want to sit and do the editing. So you've got to use this service. It could be 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m. It doesn't matter. I have some friends that hopefully are watching this, like Linda Sunshine West, who is always up late doing stuff. This would be a great service for you. Gidget, my court reporter friend, be a great service for you. I got a lot of people that I just think you should give it a try. So having said that, and having said that this is for people with dyslexia, English is not your first language, your solopreneurs, the entrepreneurs, newsletters, blog writers, travel writers, like my head is like spinning. We're going to create a list of all those people for you. Anyway, so I got for Christmas this little magic 8 ball. If anybody remembers that, I used to love this. So we're going to shake it. We're going to ask a question. The question is, do you have a special offer for the audience tonight?
I'm sure we do.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Oh, I thought my
Do you like that,
my
guys?
Magic 8 Ball told me we did too.
So, Brian, go ahead and tell us what you have for the audience tonight.
Sure, absolutely. We'll give you we will offer 20% off any of our packages, and by using our code Mary Fain. So I'm sure she'll provide it to you as well. But
we'll go in after the show. We'll go in and we'll update the event, and we'll update as well this live Facebook, and we'll put the code in there, and we'll also make sure once again that we have all your contact information, like your website, and anything else that they need. Just let me know if we don't have it in there. Feel free to go in, and if you guys have any questions, since I'm doing this on my phone, it's a little different. If you guys have any questions, please comment. We want to hear what your questions are. There is no wrong question, and Brian and I will go in afterwards, and we will engage with you, and we'll answer your questions because we are here to serve you guys. I love that Brian started this business, and he's in San Diego, and that we met last year at social media. Are you going to social media marketing world?
We're going to try. It's always so expensive, but we're going to try.
I'm volunteering again, but because of my knee, I can't do that 4-day commitment. So I'll probably only be on site one day.
Yeah, we're going to try at least get a couple of people there. I'm staying pretty busy these days, but we'll try. So one thing I did want to mention, what I love about the service, is that we're actually creating jobs for people. And, I have a team of 60 to 80 editors right now. We have people that we want more, but we don't want to limit the work that they get. And it makes me so happy, that when I can actually create jobs for people. I remember when it first started, and we were paying out the editors. We had an editor in, I believe it was Indiana, Ohio, somewhere like that. And she told me she paid her mortgage, which obviously she wasn't from San Diego. She paid her mortgage last month with the money she made from editor, and that just, that made me ecstatic. Obviously we started this business, we want to make money and we want to help people write better, but the fact that we're able to we can provide work and jobs for people as well, and give them that secondary income where they can pick up a job when they want to. They'll get a text on their phone. We always had the idea of someone would be standing in line at Starbucks, they'd get a text message from editor, and they would say, hey, you want to make $5, fix this job, and they could pay for their coffee right there while they're fixing a job on their phone. So that's one thing I really am proud of and happy that we're able to. The editors make more money on the site than I have, but but no, seriously, I'm very happy and very proud that we're able to provide jobs and a wonderful service to people, and
I love that. That's part of being an entrepreneur. As your business grows, you get to bless other people with jobs. So I feel you on that one. I'm working on getting to that point, and I just brought on 3 interns. So I get to, help and train them for the workforce. And then later this year, hopefully to hire, that VA and social media manager. But it is a blessing when your business grows that now you're helping other people with an income, and it's a flexible income, right?
Yeah,
so they get
our editors from the other side, the editors can work basically whenever they want. They can clock in and clock out. Basically, when you clock in, you get alerts for new jobs. When you clock out, you don't. But that's one good thing about the work. Obviously we want them to be logged in as much as possible, and that's one of our challenges, to make sure we have proper coverage and knowing when people are going to be logged in. But if you have some editors that haven't worked in a month because they've been traveling, or now they need the extra money, now they're back. So I mean, it's really cool, and I'm really happy about that. So.
Well, awesome. You know what? Thank you, Brian, for joining us. Thank you for your generous offer of 20% off on your services. We will make sure that we get that link and the code so that you can log on and set up an account, and you can give the editor a test run. I have to say, you guys know me. I do not promote any service that I have not tried. That's kind of my thing. Like, I can't promote you if I haven't tested the waters. I don't promote products, services, places if I have not tried them out. So I've tried editorr. It rocks. Brian, you rock. Thank you so much for being a guest tonight. And you guys, drop your questions, your comments in, and we'll jump back on and answer those tonight, tomorrow, and I'll put the codes in. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having
me. Mary Fain Brandt with a LinkedIn Bakery.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. Bye. Bye.